Hey, it's Sarah with Loaves and Dishes, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make this homemade pizza dough. Before we get into the video, be sure to subscribe. Okay, so I have 1 1/3 cups of water, and I have warmed it up, and then I've added 2 teaspoons of yeast, and then I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of sugar, and I'm going to mix that up and let that sit for 10 minutes. You want to make sure that your yeast gets nice and frothy like this. That's how you know that it's working correctly. And then in your bowl, in a pretty big bowl, you're going to add about 3 cups of flour. You're going to add 2 teaspoons of salt and 2 tablespoons of oil. I forgot to add the oil, but it turned out fine. So, anyways, and then you're going to add your yeast mixture and you're going to mix that all together. And you just want to mix it together until it forms a shaggy dough. And once you get it all together, you're going to put some, you want to put some flour on your board first, and then you're going to knead that for 5 to 7 minutes. Just adding flour as you need to. When the dough starts to get sticky, you just want to add a little pinch of flour. You don't want to add too much at a time because you don't want to potentially like dry your dough out, but you just want to add like a little pinch at a time. And then you're just going to knead this. And it doesn't really matter how you knead it as long as you're, kind of doing something. I like to push with the heel of my hand and then fold it over on itself. Some people like to do rotations, and I just kind of do whatever. And when one arm gets tired, then I'll use the other arm, This part, it's just so long as the dough is being worked, just so long as the gluten is being formed in some way, it doesn't really matter how you do it. And just when things start to get sticky, you add a little pinch of flour and continue kneading. And you want to do this for 5 to 7 minutes or until your dough really comes together, and when you push it, it springs back some. Yeah, right there. I was just playing with it. Sometimes dough is really fun to make because you can, it's like playing in food, really. And about this point, I was trying to decide, has it come together enough? Have I kneaded it enough? I usually, when I get about to this point, I have a hard time deciding, when do I stop kneading? And so I just decided that since it was kind of really coming back together, and see, I pushed it down and it sprung back a little bit. I was like, okay, I think it's about time for it to be done. So I put a little extra flour on it because it was a little sticky. Okay, so in a bowl, and this is a pretty large bowl, I placed a little bit of oil. That's probably about a tablespoon of oil. And I am just running that around the bowl. And then I am rolling this dough all the way in it so that it gets nice and oiled, because you don't want this dough to stick to the bowl at any point. Now let that rise for an hour and a half. Once it was done, that's what it looked like. It had more than doubled in size. And so now I'm just peeling it away from the side. I punched it down in the middle, peeling it away from the side, and I'm going to pull it out, and we're going to make pizza. So this makes 2 pizzas. So you can take one and cook it, now, or you can, kind of keep it in the freezer. It'll keep in the freezer for about 3 months, but you just want to make sure that you get it out a couple hours beforehand so that it can fully thaw and everything. And I am not good at stretching out pizza dough. I did the best I could. I decided to go with a square pizza because it was easier to make a square than it was a circle. And I'm also baking this on a sheet pan. If you have a pizza stone, you could use that as well. This part, doesn't really matter as much. So I just stretched it out as much as I could without ripping any holes in it. And then I'm going to add some toppings. So this was our Valentine's Day dinner. A labor of love. This part really was kind of a labor. I was getting really, really irritated with this dough at this point. Okay, so I have some pizza sauce, and pizza sauce is really easy to make. You can just take tomato sauce and cook it down a little bit and add some seasonings, and there you have pizza sauce, but I just bought some jar sauce. So I got some pizza sauce. I'm spreading it all over. And the great thing about making your pizza at home is that you can add as much or as little of the toppings that you like. So I added sauce. I'm adding some mozzarella cheese. And then I had to wait for my husband to get home to add the pepperonis because he had to stop in the store and buy some pepperonis. But there it is, out of the oven. You just bake it at 400 for about 20 minutes. And that's it. If you want to see more, check out Loaves and Dishes. And thanks for watching.